Hey everyone, so let's talk through an all too common one here. So drywall dents. So as you can see here, the doorstop that was installed in kind of a weird place where it actually didn't do anything, which was pretty funny. And I could tell this had been repaired before, so because there was drywall compound there. So first thing I did was kind of move the doorstop so it actually, did what it was supposed to do. And as you can see here, when you put it in the right place, suddenly the door handle doesn't smash the wall. So I wanted to use hot mud when doing this. So hot mud is basically I think it's a hardener in it, but basically this is 20-minute mud. So it starts setting up at about 20 minutes. So you don't have to wait, a full day. So when I mix this stuff, I'm looking for a pretty thick peanut butter consistency to fill the initial hole. And then after you fill the initial hole with the thick peanut butter, you loosen up the compound with a little bit of water, and then it becomes a little bit more of like a thinner peanut butter. And what I'm doing here is I'm adding drywall compound and I'm applying pressure on the outside. So it creates a little bit of a mound where the initial hole is, because you don't want to have a really steep drop off on where you're mudding, because you're going to require a lot more sanding at the end of the day. So you want to blend it as much as possible to make your life easier down the line. Afterwards, clean your tools, just because hot mud's kind of a pain in the butt to clean after it sets up. Now we can come back in a few hours and focus on the sanding. And if you did a good job mudding, then you're not going to have to do much sanding at all. Really focus on the perimeter where the drywall mud meets the existing painted surface. All you're trying to do is really blend it in there, and then you're going to focus a little bit on the middle. But you don't want to take all the mud off that you put on there, right? So be very deliberate when you're sanding, and don't sand too much. Otherwise, you're just going to end up remudding again. So after that, I'm going to ask everyone to ignore the weird, square or rectangle I'm painting here. The homeowners didn't have any more of the paint to match, but they're planning to paint their whole place in a month. So instead of just having a weird kind of discoloration with this paint, which was a bit lighter, I wanted to just make it look a bit more deliberate. So I painted in a square. You're gonna need 2 coats to go over fresh drywall mud. Usually it's a best practice to prime, but this wasn't very thick, so I knew it wouldn't absorb too much, so I didn't end up priming, and it worked out just fine after 2 coats. So as you'll see at the end here, you could never really tell that there was ever a hole here. So if you blend things properly, this is a repair that can take you a few hours, specifically with using hot mud, which sets up pretty quickly. So you can have this painted in a matter of a few hours and, make that hole disappear. So if any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, give it a go yourself. And worst thing that can happen is you'll have to do some extra sanding. Cheers.